I'm going to create a multiplayer FPS game with zero experience on multiplayer in 7 days, because the time limit adds suspense and I like to suffer. Also, the reason I'm making this game is because approximately 2 years ago, I said I'd make this game for my friend, but I never did, so I guess better late than never. Anyways, on day 1, I got started by creating a new project in Godot and naming it Outbound FPS, because this was the name of the original game idea. I also added the player movement, so you can move around the level since most games have this feature, and it's pretty cool. On day 2, I woke up, unfortunately, because today was the day I had to add multiplayer, so I went back to bed. Now, if you don't know why multiplayer is such a pain for game developers, it's because in multiplayer, you have to be able to connect any computer to any different computer, which means if someone has a potato computer like mine, it won't run smoothly, causing lag and a bunch of other things to break. Luckily, after waking up, I found a multiplayer tutorial by devlog Logan that helped me to learn a lot of the basics of Godot's multiplayer solution. Finally, on day 3, I finished the Godot multiplayer tutorial. Once the tutorial was done, I had features like a health bar for all the players and animation for all the weapons, so they weren't so stiff. Unfortunately, this multiplayer solution uses port forwarding, which means to use multiplayer over different internets, I would need to enable that on my router, and I have no idea how to do that. So I guess I'll just have to stick to LAN, which stands for Legendary Awesome Nutcracker, or short for Local Area Network. Next, on day 4, I started by adding some color to the game with a new environment and lighting to make the sky look better. After that, I found this FPS map online and downloaded it to use in the project. In addition, on day 5, I got the Blender models from my friend for the old game idea, and began work on the models because these models were very old and unoptimized for game development. Some of the models had hundreds of materials and some of the models were just cubes put together to make some resemblance of a map. So I had to do a lot of work to get the models optimized, like using an auto clicker to remove all the previous materials and re-adding materials by assigning them to the correct faces, along with deleting the faces on the inside of the meshes that were not seen on the outside. After optimizing the models, I had to spend some time trying to get the animations to work with Mixamo, a tool for lazy game developers like myself that automatically applies animations to models, but in order to export the model, I had to get it correctly working with Mixamo's system. I had to export by randomly selecting buttons because, let's be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. Eventually though, I found a solution that works, which is basically just to pick the .obj file and select all the checkboxes for the character to load correctly with Mixamo. Finally, I got the animations to work, and look at those sweet animations. On day 6, I found this ammo model online and downloaded the model to use as an item that the player can pick up to collect ammo, because currently the player has unlimited ammo. So I added these spinning ammo models across the map so that when you go up to them, they refill your ammo counter. After this, I start work on making a new map because the modeled maps my friend sent me were just a bunch of cubes. So by reusing a couple of the models from his maps, I could make my own optimized map. Firstly though, I had to make objects that I could place around the map. So I made a car, computer, a tree, and a barrel. Finally, on day 7, I finished the map by creating a blocked out version of it, and then adding the objects that I made the previous day. Since it was the final day though, I didn't have enough time to finish those sweet animations. So I did the next best thing by upgrading the bean player with some of the characteristics from the other character model. Lastly, after making this game, I've learned a lot about multiplayer and networking stuff, but I'm never going to do it again. So in conclusion, here's what my friend thought about the game.